All right, with New Year's Eve preparations in the final stages, the NYPD is readying for the potential threat of Tren de Aragua today and into 2025.
This is an issue that we're dealing with, not specific to New Year's Eve, Times Square, but some newly emergent threats, newly emergent crime patterns that we have, again, tried to combat very early and very deeply, so that we haven't had the entrenchment of some of this gang here in the city that you've seen elsewhere across the country.
Yeah, this comes as NYPD data shows that a record number of officers were injured by violent suspects this year. That's up 13% from last year. Joining us now is former head of counterterrorism operations for the NYPD and Fox News contributor Paul Morrow. Good morning, Paul. Thanks for joining us. You hear this, acute threat of Tren de Aragua, but it's kind of this larger issue of how the city has handled illegal immigrants that have come to the city. Is this something that we should look at and say, hey, this is a really big threat for tonight's celebrations, or is it really something that just is here all the time?
I would say the latter. This is something that the city's been dealing with now for a couple of years, but specific to New Year's Eve, I don't think it is something that anybody who's coming to the event really needs to have on the agenda. There are other things to worry about. Watch yourself relative to pickpockets and things like that. Understand that once you get into a pen in Times Square, you're not going to leave, and if you do, you can't come back in. Measures like that. But in terms of a Tren de Aragua threat specific to the New Year's event, the PD is on this. They have a lot of resources, even as tight as it is for them relative to recruitment and retention. They are out pretty far ahead on this Tren de Aragua thing and the gang threat in general that we've seen grow out of the migrant crisis. And so I think that tonight will be fine relative to that issue.
Yeah, when we talk about why this crime from illegal immigrants is so, so acute in New York City and why it's felt so much. This is a great quote here that kind of tells you where police officers are on it. It says, an unnamed officer with 2 decades of experience told the New York Post, a lot more migrants assault cops than regular citizens. This comes as the lady we just saw speaking, let's see if I can grab her name real quick, but she's the deputy commissioner. She said that that basically these violent criminals are they're without consequence. And so you have them, they don't have consequence for attacking police officers. Now police officers say, they're doing it worse. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the migrants, particularly the gangbangers, they come from some really rough terrain. Remember that Tren de Aragua specifically is a prison gang, and a Venezuelan prison gang is a crew that is used to doing battle with the police in Venezuela. They apparently exchange gunfire with the police regularly, and they put out to their members here in America that, and specifically in New York, that, hey, it's okay to shoot at the police because they shoot at us.
Wow.
That's just the culture that they're used to back home, and they've brought some of that here. And so, the cops that are dealing with them are aware of the fact that they'll act with impunity, and realistically, they don't have a whole lot to lose. I mean, they've been given everything they want here. We don't seem to have any mechanism to get them out. They know that. They're very adept at playing the system. They know the system before they even get here. And so, there is a level of impunity and an arrogance that's coming out of these gangs, specifically this gang. And until we wake up when Tom Homan comes in on 20 January and Donald Trump starts to do battle, and it's going to be a battle, a legalistic battle with the sanctuary cities and states, this kind of thing is going to go on because they're very aware of the fact that they have essentially a protected status.
Yeah, actually, that was the Sergeants Benevolent Association president that said that. So the person speaking for police officers and their concerns says, listen, there aren't any consequences for these migrants that are attacking police officers. I think it's pretty amazing to have literally the NYPD say, can't do our job. And while we're not able to do our job, we're getting attacked. Paul Morrow, you know that. Thank you for continuing to cover it and come on about it. We appreciate your service to the city.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.